and welcome to today's episode on the Moving from Fear to Trust series. Today I'm joined by Alex Stearn, and I was blessed enough to actually end up sitting beside Alex when I was at the Marie Forleo event, and we hit it off immediately. And yeah, that's why today I am really excited to delve into Alex's story and what she is doing, what she's creating in the world. She is a best-selling author and the creator and founder of My PA Planner, which I am about to order my copy because they're almost sold out, which is a business and life planner and journal for entrepreneurs, which I am sure all of us need a place to put it all together. So thank you so much, Alex, for joining us. And yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me on. It's a real honour. Thank you very much. And it was lovely meeting you too at the event. So thanks very much for that.
Yeah. It's funny though, when you go to these events where, you know, there's like, you know, we met up and there was like a big group, I don't know, 30 plus people. And it's like just certain people you end up connecting to and resonating with. It's just like, I think you're meant to meet who you're meant to meet.
Oh, definitely. And I think we had that conversation, didn't we, when we were there? It was like, definitely, there's so much synchronicity going on and so many coincidences, but I don't think they are really coincidences. I definitely think we were meant to meet up.
Yeah, exactly. So tell me, how did you become a social media strategist? Like what was your entry into that?
Okay, well, Aisling, I was always into marketing in a big way. I love anything to do with sales and marketing. So I started my career in London hotels, well, quite a long time ago, over 20 years ago. I was a sales and marketing director of a 4-star London hotel in Harrington Gardens. And then I started my own business. So I started up an agency, basically selling service departments in London. So that was my sort of start up into business. And then I ran that business for about 7 years. And then I got married and started a family and gave up my business for many reasons. I gave it up. And then I was kind of looking after my family, my son, also my parents. Both my parents had dementia. So they played quite a big part of my life. And then back in about 2012, I was really getting I had a small hotel booking agency business, but I was really getting itchy feet and really wanted to get back into starting a business. So I kind of delved, at the time, sort of Facebook was kind of coming up, and it was only really beginning to take off, you know, Facebook for business. So I decided to literally sort of immerse myself, if you like. I ended up immersing myself for 2 years, can you believe it, in social media, just finding out everything about it. By which time, after about a month, I decided that I would write a book about Facebook marketing. And then I thought, oh, you know what, I'm going to write a book about Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. So in the end, I wrote a series of 8 books. I called the whole thing Make Social Media Work for Your Business. And there was basically a book about on every single sort of social media platform at the time. And I launched those in 2014, actually, about the time when I joined the B School. And 3 of those became bestsellers. They sort of flew off the shelves because it was just the right time to launch a book about social media. You know, everybody was kind of just diving into getting to know how to make it work for your business. So that's how all the books came about. And then I started doing consultancy for local businesses and a few, you know, contacts I had as well. So so that was how it all started.
Yeah, it's amazing. And at any stage, like during that process, were you know, like, because it is obviously an unknown thing when you're doing your own business, like, you know, in terms of like facing your fears, like what would be like that process for you, and what would help you to trust in your path? Like, what's your specific thing that helps you the most?
Well, I guess a couple of things. I mean, I do have a really strong faith, and I do kind of, I don't want to sound sort of woo-woo, but I do kind of listen to the universe and what's going on, and I do have a strong belief in kind of signs that I see, and my own self-beliefs as well, and also my faith. I'm a Christian, so I don't know, that's a big part of it. But I think when I start something, I just really totally believe in it, and then just get on with it. And I really had to have faith in this, because it took me, the best part, like I said, actually 2 years. I never planned that it would take me that long, but I would get up at sort of 6 o'clock in the morning, write for like about 4, 5, 6 hours, go off to a spinning class, come back, maybe do a little bit more, and then get up the next, you know. And it was very,
Yeah.
and it was a really nice process as well, because I didn't feel stressed. It was just, that's what I decided I was going to do, and I just plugged away.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And I think because sometimes our minds can overcomplicate everything. And I love how you're just like, I'm doing this thing and I'm just going to keep doing what I need to do every day and just keep showing up to the process.
Yeah, and that was a bit about trust, really, because, and it's a great time, because I, in my head, that was the one thing I was focusing on. And like I said, I would just get up every day, and that's what happened. And it was kind of like a nice kind of comfort zone in a way,
Mm-hmm.
just being able to do that. And, you know, I decided that's what I was going to focus on. And I was lucky enough to be in a position where I could do that as well. I mean,
Yeah.
not all people can do that. They may have to go out and get a job, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so I was in a position at the time that I was looking after my mum, you know, and she had dementia. So we were living with her for that period. So, you know, it wasn't a big deal for me.
Yeah. So it's like the universe conspired for you to be able to do that. You know, the space was there.
Definitely. And
Yeah.
also it gave me a lot of confidence and a lot of belief in myself, because, you know, there was a lot involved in, you know, one, planning the books, writing them, and then, you know, I basically did it all myself. I, you know, self-published them,
Mm-hmm.
got them all formatted for Amazon and Kindle. So it's a huge learning curve, but when you've actually done it, it's like, wow, I actually did that, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then what was next from the books then? What was the kind of next step for you?
Okay, so then I got into social media consultancy, which I still do now. I mainly like to do consultancy rather than management, because I don't know, I just feel that I think that brands really need to be very much on top of their own social media,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of, you know, it's okay, you can post whatever you like, but you need to engage. And I think it's important for businesses and for brands and personal brands to be able to put their own voice out there. So I tend to prefer to do more consultancy.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, during all this time, I had the consultancy, I was looking after my mum, you know, I had my son. So I was getting quite overwhelmed. And also I'm fairly multi-passionate. So I've always got like the next idea coming up in my brain.
Yeah.
And, you know, I always felt that I was lacking something, some kind of organizational tool. I would try Google Calendar, and, you know, I'd use that for about a week, and that would all, you know, that didn't work. And I'd get, you know, a notebook, or anyway, I couldn't really find anything that I could just dump everything in, and also have like a really good planner. So I decided that I would create my own for myself. So I did that, and it worked, and it was really great, and I loved it. And then I decided, because obviously we're both in the group, aren't we, the B School group, and you hear so many you know, entrepreneurs and, you know, coaches and business owners, or people starting up in business, they are totally overwhelmed by the process. There's so much involved, there's so much information out there. I decided that it would be such a good tool for others to use, so I decided to create it, and then I launched that on Kickstarter last November, and this is my second year. So this is my second year, and it's been a sellout, which is amazing. Although I'm disappointed that I'm going to have to probably disappoint quite a few people, because they're always latecomers, aren't there? And
late to the party.
but I'm just going to have to gear up for next year. You know?
But that's amazing. But it's like, because I think that's the thing with even the journey of like moving from fear to trust, and like bringing, say, your dreams into life, and, you know, bringing whatever is the thing that you feel you want to contribute to the world. It's like, it's great to have the idea, but then to actually implement it and execute it, it just gets like, you know, the way it's like, like I would be like that type of person where I'd have all these like notebooks everywhere, and they'd be filled with stuff, but then I'd forget like, where did I put what? And it just goes everywhere. You know, just, you're like, the ideas are everywhere, but I'm not sure how to find them.
Exactly. And that's what I was like, you know, I have a notebook for this, a notebook for that, but no real clear strategy to where to put stuff. So I just needed something that I just wanted it to be something like that was like my little book of life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it worked, and it's really helped me, and it's really helped me with my planning as well, you know, and scheduling and time blocking, and it's taken so much stress out of my life.
I love that. So because you talk about like the blocking of time and just things like that, which I suppose when you're new to the entrepreneurial world, you're not really sure of how to do that, like, or how to manage your time, because, you know, especially if you're kind of like doing it stuff yourself, you can be like,
Exactly.
oh my gosh, this is like, I don't really have that structure, you know, and that's the kind of thing that we lack, is the structure.
Definitely. I mean, if you've got a business and it's up and running, or you bill out your time or something, yeah, you will use like a time blocking system. But, you
Mm-hmm.
know, when you're starting out in business, or maybe if you just haven't used this system before, it's like you don't, it's like, you know, we'll put up an appointment in our diaries for a dentist, or if we've got today, your appointment, you know, with you is in my diary, or, but then we don't tend to put a, you know, appointments in our diary for the work we have to actually do.
Yeah.
And that is so important, because that is the game changer. It's the work that we actually do that's going to drive us forward. And
Yeah.
and I think we probably don't put enough emphasis and importance on that work, which is so important, you know. And it's great to, you know, to diarize it and schedule it, because you can only do one thing at a time. And I
Yeah.
think we all think we've got more hours in the day than we actually have. And
Yeah.
then sometimes it feels like you've got this huge day in front of you and you think, oh, you know, how am I going to fill that, sort of thing? But actually, if you plan it out, you can have really good structure to your day. You can get so much done. You can increase your productivity. Plus, I think, you know, you can take that stress out of it, because I think
Mm-hmm.
stress is something that we're all trying to keep away from, but there are so many stresses today, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, massively. And especially when we're with the online space and we're navigating that, and, you know, there's so many different stresses that we have to go through, both internally and then, you know, externally. So it's like, how can we actually simplify our lives down as much as we
Totally.
possibly can?
And our phones and everything, they're great. But the thing is, I mean, when I go to my phone, I'll go to say, okay, right, I want to send an email to such and such. And then I'll get to my phone and there'll be like a notification here. And I'll put the phone away and I think, oh, I haven't done what I actually wanted to do, you know?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, the planner, having something, you know, something on paper, it makes everything more real. And it just takes you to a place of calmness and no, you know, no interruptions.
Yeah, I love that. I think, yeah, there's such value of having things written down. But then, yeah, just the whole like tricky thing is when you are massively into ideas and creation, that you overestimate how much you can possibly do in a week, in a month, in a year. Do you know, I think, you know, especially this
Yeah.
time of year where we're all like reviewing the year and maybe reviewing the past decade, and we're kind of going, yeah, like I can't actually implement all the ideas I have whirling around my head. It's not possible.
I know, and when they're all whirling around, it kind of creates that feeling of just overwhelm. Where do I start? You know, whereas with the planner, I just, you know, there's a project plan, so you write all your projects down, and then you just go and, you know, plod through it all really, and you know, it just takes all the stress out of it.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and I think the whole thing for me anyway in the journey of like moving from fear to trust is being able to live from a place of trust. And I think that ties into that, what you're saying, like in terms of being able to be very clear on where you're going, and then being able to plot it out, and then just like what is possible in a day or in a week. And when you keep doing that, and I think when you show up to the commitments that you've made, that's what, to me anyway, is what builds trust in my own self. When I go, oh my gosh, I set out to do this thing, you know, it was a big project, or, you know, a big undertaking, and I actually stuck with it. I implemented all the tiny parts of that project, and now I can see it coming into fruition. I think then you actually go, do you know what, I trust in who I am and what I am, what I'm capable of, you know, which is really important, I think.
Oh wow, I love that, Ashling. I think that is so important. That trust thing. It's like gives you such peace of mind, doesn't it, when you actually
Mm-hmm.
trust yourself?
Yeah.
You know, and because that fear is horrible. It's the most awful feeling when you fear
Mm-hmm.
something, but when you've got
Yeah.
it planned out and you just go ahead and do it, and you trust that you're going to be able to do it, and you
Mm.
you you figure it out, it's amazing.
Yeah, you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm brilliant, you know, when you're actually able to do that, because it's just
Yeah.
like such a great feeling. And I think it's why we're here as well, you know, to kind of be able to master ourselves and to discover our true potential, even within like massive challenges that we all naturally will navigate throughout our life experience.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
How was the journey of like losing your own parents? Like, what was that like in terms of, I suppose, again, for me, it was, losing the physical connection I had with my mom was, the most fear-inducing experience I've gone through so far in my life. And I think nothing can really prepare you for that. Obviously, it comes in different ways, but what was that kind of process like for you? Obviously, it's very personal in terms of the grieving of that person, but just that, like, not having the connection to your parents here in the physical world. What was that like for you?
Well, I think a lot of us, we always fear, don't we, the loss of a loved one. And I think I
Yeah.
always feared that time,
Yeah.
when I mean, none of us know what's going to happen, to be honest, do we? We could go before our parents, but I think in my mind, I always feared it.
Mm.
And then when it happened, I don't know, it was it was an awful loss, but it was kind of unexpected. And I dealt with it better than I actually thought I would. So
Mm-hmm.
the fear was actually worse than. Now, I'm not saying that their passing was awful, because it was
Yeah.
absolutely dreadful, and we all have to go through that at some stage. But
Mm-hmm.
the fear was definitely worse, and I think fear is such a a bad thing. It always makes it worse, doesn't it?
It does.
What we fear in it's always worse in our mind. I don't know if I'm getting that across, but so when it
Yeah.
actually happened, I got through it, and I was shocked at myself that I got through it,
Mm-hmm.
because that I lost both of them 3 weeks apart, and
Yeah.
it was pretty catastrophic.
Yeah.
But it was very strange, because after their passing, I still feel like, not that they're here in physical presence, but I don't feel that I'm not going to see them again.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that they're in some kind of different dimension. I don't know where that's come from, because it wasn't really what I was thinking before they passed, but I
Yeah.
don't know, maybe it's an acceptance or something, I don't know.
Mm. I think I feel that as well, and it's definitely not something that I thought of previous, because it's not really something that you think about,
No, no.
because you have no experience of that. But I've definitely gotten so many signs over and over and over again to
I mean,
show me that my mom is still not here physically, but like she's here in where she is in a different dimension. And like that literally has been said to, like, even like when she passed in the hospital, the priest who came in afterwards, he even said, "Oh, don't be sad, Martha's just gone to the next dimension." He literally said that, and I was just like, what? It didn't kind of hit me until afterwards. I was like, I can't believe he said that, because we were all like in shock, and he just said this, and I was just like, so anyway, just many different signs and feelings as well, that connection is still there.
definitely. And I've had this, I mean, we had the conversation, didn't we, in London?
Mm.
And I told you a few of the experiences, what I won't go into now, but definitely had a, have had a connection since. And it's so strange that we should both say that we didn't think this before they actually passed. It was like an acceptance afterwards. I didn't
Yeah.
even I didn't even consider, to me, death was going to be the end. But it just now doesn't seem like that. It just seems that I am somehow going to connect with them sometime.
Yeah. And it's
Because
like our mind can't figure that out, like on a logical level, because it's
no,
like you can't explain it in words. It's just kind of almost an intuition that you just sense it.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I mean.
Mm. But for me, and I don't know if this is in your experience, but like when my mom passed, which was only last year, it feels like 3 years have passed, even though, I don't know, time has just gone, like, so it just feels like so much has happened, because I've grown so much in a year that I'm like, oh my gosh, is that only a year ago? And anyway, but I feel like the whole thing of my mom passing has really given me the fire under me to be like, don't hold back from what you're here to do. Like, don't play into like playing small when your mind is afraid of the unknown or whatever. It's like, because if you can go through that, you can go through any of these things. And it just has given me great motivation to be like, okay, I'm here and I'm privileged to be here physically, and so I better make the most of it.
Mm,
Yeah.
definitely. I totally agree.
Yeah. That it's like, okay, what are you going to do with this? Or do they say like this one wild, precious life? It's like, it's almost very sobering, I think, when you meet that, that closeness to death, when you obviously see your loved one pass away. I think up to that point, you're kind of like, oh yeah, that won't happen to me for a long, long time. Or, you know, it's just like, you don't really bring it into your awareness. Whereas I think when you have that encounter and that experience, for me anyway, just like, it's very sobering to go, yeah, don't be wasting your time here.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. It's just, you're, like you said, it's so sobering. And I don't know, somehow I just think I've changed since it happened. I don't know, there's been something in me that has changed. I can't explain it, but I guess it's going through that process, isn't it? Going through that grief.
Yeah.
It changes you.
Yeah, totally.
It puts things into perspective. I don't know, it grounds you. It puts you back into, you know, reality, sort of gives you a reality check, if you like.
Yeah, big time. So what are your biggest intentions for 2020?
Well, I'll still be doing my social media consultancy, but I really want to continue building my brand with my PA.
Yeah.
I really believe in it. I got such amazing feedback. I mean, that's the greatest thing about doing this, I find, is when you actually help people and they tell you, you know, how helpful it's been and how they love your product. It's just, that's what it's all about for me.
Yeah.
So I just want to get this into as many hands as possible, really, and just keep building the brand and maybe change it a little bit, but that's what I'll be doing over the next year, and trying to give out, you know, valuable content and yeah, just trying to get it out to as many people as possible for next year.
Oh, I love it. Amazing. And for your final words to everyone listening, what would you say to everyone on moving from fear to trust?
Self-doubt. Just don't go there. Just totally believe in yourself. Be your own best friend always. Talk to yourself as you would your best friend. And, you know, be guarded about the people that you hang around with as well and mix with, you know, that you don't bring that negativity and doubt into your life. You know, I reckon everybody has got a gift that, you know, they want to give out to the world, and don't let other people squash that. And don't let your own self-doubt either. So self-doubt, there's just no point. There's no point in negativity, and there's no point in self-doubt. You know, if you can't do something, learn to do it, you know, or do you know what I'm saying? Just go for it and just be positive. You may not be, you know, you may not have all your cards, but just find them, learn, you know. I mean, it kind of goes back to the everything is figure outable kind of mantra.
Yeah, it all ties in. Yeah.
But that's what I believe in. That really is what I believe in. Everything is possible, and believe in yourself, and just don't doubt yourself.
I love it.
And trust yourself.
And trust yourself. Oh, I love what you're saying about, like, if you don't know what to do, like, don't take that as, oh, I can't do it. Learn how to do it.
Yeah.
I love that. Amazing.
Or find somebody who can.
Yeah. There's many teachers and coaches out there for all these different things, and you can find them, and, you know, it's all there. It's all there.
And you don't need to go out and spend loads of money. You can go and find something on YouTube, on Google, you know. You can do, you know, if you haven't got huge resources behind you financially to do this, that, and the other. I mean, great, if you've got the money to go on all these courses, that's fine. But otherwise, there are so many free resources, you know, and it's such a great time to start a business. And
YouTube and Google are great helps for when we're, you know, bootstrapping and we're doing things ourselves.
Definitely.
Yeah, wonderful. So Alex, let everybody know where they can find you online.
Okay, so I've got my own page on Facebook, Alex Stearn, but mostly I spend my time on my PA planner. So all my handles and all my social media is at my PA planner on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. So you can contact me there. Also, I offer a free download of the planner to anybody really who emailed me, and you know, they can try it for free.
Wonderful. Well, we'll include the link to the free page of the planner under the show notes of this podcast, so everyone be sure to click through and try it out and get your orders in. I know you're sold out now this year, but for next year, 2020, 2021. So Alex, thank you so much for taking the time to come on here today. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you and getting to know you. that bit more. It's just an honor to be connected with you, and I'm so happy to be on this journey, moving from Fear to Trust and going into 2020, starting strong.
Thank you so much, Aisling. It's been, honestly, it's been lovely being on here. Thank you.
Thanks a million.